Depression, for those who aren't clinically depressed, comes when you have no energy. You have no energy to do anything but be depressed. Your life force has been reduced, and everything inside and out is infected with a deep sadness. Motivation and confidence has gone, and loneliness and depression have taken their place. There are many reasons why one might get depressed. In this video, I will speak about one that affects a great many young men today. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer wrote that, directly after copulation, the devil's laughter is heard. This refers to sexual intercourse, but it applies just as well to self-pleasure. There is a moment after one has pleasured themselves, once the high has ceased and the dopamine hit subsides, where there is a feeling of emptiness. The neuroscientist and podcaster Andrew Huberman explains that your dopamine level is like a tub of water. When dopamine is high and you are seeking a pleasureful activity, such as eating, drinking, video games, socializing, or self-pleasure, the tub of water is disturbed by waves. They are gushing out of the tub, and when you complete the pleasureful activity, depending on the level of pleasure, some water will leave the tub. Engaging in hardcore sexually explicit videos online will cause such a rush of dopamine that almost half of the water will leave the tub. Your dopamine level is now lower than before you engaged in the pleasureful activity. This is why you might hear the devil's laughter. You feel an unpleasant lack because of your severely reduced dopamine. However, this dopamine will race back to a healthy level as long as you restrain from high dopamine activities. But if you log back into your computer and watch some more videos before your dopamine has been restored to baseline level, you will bring your dopamine level even further down, and the devil's laughter will become louder. The more you engage in adult videos, the lower your baseline dopamine, and the more depressed you will become. But the devil's laughter isn't just a lack of dopamine. It is also something psychological. Watching adult videos is a low-risk, low-energy activity. The reward outweighs the work to achieve it. Imagine a level of Mario Brothers, where you immediately jumped on the flag and won the level. There were no obstacles or risk of failure. You simply won. However, this easy win is intensely unsatisfying. It is a short rush of dopamine that brings the devil's laughter with it. Going outside and finding a partner is a venture filled with risk, uncertainty, and the high possibility of rejection. Many young men nowadays are too afraid of this rejection. Therefore, they stare at a screen for their sexual fulfillment. However, adult videos aren't just an easy sexual itch scratched, but also a social itch. Adult videos can trick your mind into believing you are doing something intimate. Sex is the deepest and most intimate connection you can have with another person. If you are naturally socially anxious or risk-averse, this trick your brain plays on you when you watch adult videos can be alluring. But your rational mind knows the difference between pixels on your screen and the real thing. This can lead to a feeling of worthlessness for not leaving the house to pursue relationships, and a feeling of guilt for having wasted time and energy on a psychologically unfulfilling activity. There is also shame from having given in to your reptilian brain, which is designed to want to have sex constantly. From an evolutionary perspective, we are designed to want to regularly have sex with multiple partners. There is a reason why videos of a lot of people having sex together are so popular on adult websites, and why men have an almost insatiable sexual appetite. Adult websites exploit our reptilian brain. The society we live in is monogamous, and finding a partner isn't as easy as it once was. We evolved in tight-knit, interconnected tribes, where group sex was the norm. This wasn't just for sexual gratification, but for the fulfillment of social contracts. Sex created trust between adults. Therefore, children could be looked after by many people in the tribe. Children had multiple mums and dads, and there was a strong sense of community and well-being. The world we live in now couldn't be more different. The current socio-political climate is divisive, and with the prevalent and addictive nature of technology, we're becoming more lonely and isolated than ever before. There is a growing division between the genders, where it is socially acceptable to wear a t-shirt like, "I love making men cry," "Men are trash," and "I hate men." Young men could potentially be afraid of seeking out relationships due to this zeitgeist of vitriol against them. Anxiety at meeting new people, fear of rejection, and fear of doing or saying the wrong thing can all lead to an addiction to the internet and adult videos. So how does one get out of this destructive cycle of watching adult videos to compensate for real, healthy relationships? The Buddha said, "If by leaving a small pleasure one sees a great pleasure, let a wise man leave the small pleasure and look to the great." The key to escaping this vicious cycle is to have our eyes on the great pleasure, prioritizing the long-term goal of a quality relationship instead of a short-term pleasure in front of a computer screen. The energy you put to use in front of your laptop can be put into this long-term goal. Do you notice how you are depleted of energy when you hear the devil's laughter? If you resist the urge to engage in self-pleasure, you will have more energy to pursue real-world goals, such as a long-term relationship. You will also have more energy to pursue your fitness and academic goals. You can follow healthy pursuits that end in great pleasure, and you'll be thankful you sacrificed the small pleasures for the great ones. The business professional Scott Galloway got into a bit of controversy with young people when he gave the advice to never be at home unless you're going to sleep. This advice is best explained with a quote from the Smiths' song, "What Difference Does It Make?" "The devil will find work for idle hands to do." If you are at home and bored, the devil is ready to find you work. This might be falling down a YouTube rabbit hole, mindlessly scrolling social media, or watching adult videos. If these things easily tempt you, stay out of the house. Try working in the library, engaging in more social events, or asking people out for coffees. Plug yourself into a social environment. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be at home. It is simply an observation that unless we are mindful, we can indulge in bad habits. This is why, when you are at home, you should take some time to meditate. When you begin to feel you have idle hands, when you feel bored, try meditating and notice the impulse to look at a screen and drown in content. Listen to the devil tempting you to watch adult videos. You don't need to block this temptation. Simply watch it, observe it. This takes practice, so it is especially important to meditate even when you have no urges. Meditate when you feel perfectly content. Train yourself to notice the workings of your reptilian brain. There is also a benefit to taking cold showers. A cold shower destroys your urges. It acts like a reset button, bringing you into your body and out of your mind. Schopenhauer wrote that, to be shocked at how deeply rejection hurts is to ignore what acceptance involves. We must never allow our suffering to be compounded by suggestions that there is something odd in suffering so deeply. There would be something amiss if we didn't. Fear of rejection is a lack of acceptance that deep suffering is normal. Going out and taking a risk might result in suffering, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Suffering means growth. We won't grow if we take the easy path. As the writer Ryan Holiday wrote, "The obstacle is the way." Don't be afraid of rejection. See it as the Stoic gods testing you. They want to see you grow from the pain. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Consider a man who has undergone many rejections. He'll have learnt to deal with the pain, and therefore have built up an inner resilience. He would find it easier to take a risk because he has already experienced plenty of rejection. Therefore, the pain of rejection won't hurt as much. Now consider the man who is afraid of rejection, and therefore doesn't take any risks. As time goes by, the fear compounds, and the idea of rejection becomes an unbearable nightmare. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than reality." Therefore, in order to stop being afraid of rejection, we must take risks. Otherwise we won't grow, and we will become stagnant and childish, unwilling to grow up and face challenges. Schopenhauer wrote that, "Love is a chronic illness that appears without any cause and with no warning. You see someone and suddenly everything in your head is switched on. All the nerves, all the blood vessels, and the rhythm of your pulse is altered involuntarily." I believe Schopenhauer is referring to desire, which he is using interchangeably with love. He is saying that one should recognize what is happening in the body when you feel desire. If you want to watch adult videos in order to scratch an itch and fulfill this desire, you should take a moment to pause and reconsider. Look at the desire like it is a chronic illness. It isn't real love. Love is an all-encompassing feeling of oneness with another person. Your ego disintegrates as you feel a deep connection with another, which is what we are seeking when we watch adult videos. Seek a deep relationship, a real-life connection, and stop giving in to short-term pleasures. Epictetus said that no man is free who is not master of himself. We must, as Marcus Aurelius said, be tolerant of others and strict with ourselves. Freedom is attained through discipline, so laugh back at the devil and become a better, stronger version of yourself. The power is in your hands.